Your kids could have to switch schools next year. We're live with the first look at how Wake County schools plan to move thousands of students into 4 new schools.
This park in Wake Forest is closed because of a simple mistake residents made. I'll tell you why you need to rethink when you put down the sink.
This breath of fresh fall air won't last long when the humidity comes back, along with a chance for rain and storms.
Thousands of Wake County public school students could be going to a new school next year. Today, the district got a look at a first draft of a reassignment plan. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ashley Rowe.
And I'm Dan Haggerty. Not only could students be changing schools, but there will be 4 brand new schools in the district, 3 elementary schools and 1 high school. WRAL's Aaron Thomas joining us live from the school board headquarters in Cary. Aaron, let's start with the why question. Why is the district doing this?
Yeah, Dan, so it's no surprise that Wake County here has seen a lot of population growth, specifically over in the southwestern part of the county. So that's right over near the Apex, Holly Springs, Fuquay Arena area. So in order to get ahead of a lot of this enrollment, a lot of the population that spills over to the schools, the school district wants to get ahead of this, opening some new schools as well as renovating other schools. They're also considering opening some of these schools on a multi-track year-round calendar to help alleviate some of the overcrowding at schools. And this will also help shorten bus routes for students who pick the bus to school.
So Aaron, we know that 4 new schools are going to open, but how many schools really will this impact?
So to factor in those new schools you're talking about 22 elementary schools, including the 3 that are set to open. You also have 12 middle schools as well as 6 high schools, including the 1 high school that's set to open. And in fact, earlier this evening, we had a chance to speak with district leaders about the purpose of this enrollment plan and getting ahead of all the population growth. Take a listen.
While we are opening new schools, and we have to fill those schools so that we can make sure that we have enough students at the schools to provide the academic programming at a minimum standard at best, it is important for us to have certain students change schools.
And just to sum up what you heard there from Glenn Carrozza, a lot of these schools, they need to be filled. I know the new high school, they'll probably start that off with freshmen and sophomore students, so right around 900 students. But in order to fill these schools, there's going to have some shuffling that'll take place.
Now, nothing is set in stone yet, right? And what comes next?
So, of course, anytime we talk about student reassignment, this tends to be a plan of contention because a lot of people, they want their kids to maybe stay at their school, or they have more than 1 child that's enrolled in the school district. But the only way the district can know how you're feeling is for people to chime in. So, of course, there will be an open house, a number of open houses. The first one at Herbert Akins Middle School on September 24th at 6 in the evening. If you can't attend many of these open house sessions, you also have a chance to weigh in online. We have a link included on our website, WRAL.com, and all of this, they want to take in all of this feedback before a final vote on this proposal is set for November.
No doubt they will be getting a lot of feedback. Aaron Thomas reporting for us. Thank you.
We've got a couple of updates also on school safety that you should know about. First, starting on Monday, all Nash County elementary school students could be chosen for a random safety screening. The district announced a new procedure requiring some students to walk through metal detectors or to be scanned with a wand once a week. School officials say this new method was successful in their middle and high schools before installing weapons detectors. Some parents have questions, though, about how this will work.
That's something they have to really figure out, because you don't want to feel like you're just targeting one race or one set of people, because at that point it does become discrimination. So I think they need to really have a legit plan in place.
In a statement to WRAL, the district said that they will ensure fairness by selecting 10% of the student population based on how they get to school, by bus, by car, or by foot.
Over at UNC, today the university explained new plans to campus safety after a grad student shot and killed a professor last year. It includes making sure classrooms have working door locks. Students we spoke with say UNC has not only listened to their concerns, but took steps to address them.
I will say that that was an initiative underway, and it was prioritized, and we were well above 90% of having all of the identified classrooms completed with those updated door locks.
The university will make sure more alerts go out during a crisis, and those alerts will include more information. The school has not sent one so far this year. The university tested the system over the summer and will test it again in just a few days.
This is Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center, and we have some live pictures coming in now from the WRAL breaking news tracker of a crash in West Raleigh. This is on eastbound Wade Avenue. Good news, no reports of any injuries here, but the bad news is that truck is blocking the ramp from eastbound or inbound Wade Avenue to 440 eastbound. It's going to be a little while before they're able to get this cleared up, and all of that traffic is now getting sent into that eastbound lane, those eastbound lanes of Wade Avenue heading back toward Faircloth Street and Gorman Street. Here's a look at the live sensors. You can see those backups begin right around Blue Ridge Road and extend all the way out toward 440. No word on when they're going to be able to reopen that ramp.
Okay, Brian, thank you. Well, if you're just tuning in to WRAL on your TV or streaming device, we've got you covered. Here are 5 things you should know right now. The woman accused of abducting her 4-year-old son faced a judge for the first time today. This was that Amber Alert we sent out last Friday. Denisha Williams and her boyfriend are accused of taking 4-year-old Brandis Smith Jr. from his father's apartment in Morrisville. He was found safe Saturday morning in Fayetteville. Today in court, Williams said she will hire her own attorney. She's expected back in court later this month. The teenager who escaped the juvenile detention center in Butner is back in custody tonight. Today, investigators told WRAL 17-year-old Zane Sesnick walked about 2 hours through the woods, about 5 miles from the detention center. Someone saw him, they called law enforcement, and officers got him back behind bars. Sesnick was charged in the murder of Jerry Hicks, a 71-year-old in Wake County. Several ramps along the Raleigh Beltline will be closing tonight. This is all part of the ongoing widening project. Starting around 9 p.m., the I-440 East ramps at the Hillsborough Street interchange will close. They won't reopen again for 9 days. So until then, traffic will be detoured to the Wade Avenue interchange to return to Hillsborough.
Students at St. Augustine's University started class today. The semester was delayed because of multiple problems at the university, including financial issues. School leaders believe that they've solved some of that, and St. Aug secured a line of credit worth up to $30 million. The first loan is worth $7 million. And here's a bit of a 2-for-1, a couple of updates on 2 Raleigh entertainment venues. First, today, City Council announced an open house for people to learn more about the new Red Hat Amphitheater location. That's on September 9th at 6 p.m. at Martin Marietta. We also got a look at new renderings for the planned upgrades at PNC Arena. They include adding more food, drink, and bathroom options. And all this is a $300 million project. There's going to be some nice bathrooms, right? They hope to start construction next year, with work continuing through 2027. Republican candidate for governor Mark Robinson is under scrutiny today. A Greensboro man claims that 20 years ago, he sold explicit videos to Robinson from an adult store in the Guilford County area. Robinson's campaign denies these allegations. WRAL state government reporter Paul Spey tells us now how these allegations even came to light in the first place.
A man named Louis Money says he worked at a couple of adult film stores in the 1990s and early 2000s, and that Mark Robinson was a regular customer. The online publication The Assembly first reported on this story earlier today. Robinson was elected lieutenant governor in 2020 and is now running for governor. And he's courted conservative voters by speaking at churches and calling on schools to get rid of books with what he calls pornographic material. Now, Money, the Greensboro man, says he worked at a couple of places that sold such material: Gents Video and News and I-40 Video and News.
It was way before the internet, and he would come in and preview movies. And, we developed a friendship. He would bring pizza.
Money told us he thinks it's funny that someone he says he used to sell videos to could actually be governor someday. So he made a song about it with members of his band who called themselves the Trailer Park Orchestra. And Money insists he's not trying to tear Robinson down.
For one, it was 20 years ago, Number two, it wasn't like he was doing anything illegal. He should be judged on everything else, but he should not be judged for this.
Now, Robinson wrote in his book.
The owner of a local landfill will have to clean up decades of pollution in Samson County, and here's why. The Environmental Justice Community Action Network reached out a court-enforceable agreement with GFL, that's the owner of the Samson County landfill. This deal addresses long-standing pollution issues affecting the predominantly Black and Latino neighborhood of Snow Hill in Roseboro, including contamination from PFAS, or forever chemicals. These chemicals have been linked to health issues, including cancer.
Camor sent their PFAS-laden sludge to the Samson County landfill for decades. They're not taking it anymore, but for decades, that sludge was coming to Snow Hill, and now it's impacting the community.
Camor's is a chemical facility located in Fayetteville. Among the key provisions of the settlement, the landfill will be required to drastically cut PFAS discharges into Bearskin Swamp, put advanced monitoring technologies in, and establish a fund for impacted residents of Snow Hill.
A woman at the North Carolina coast was stung by a stingray. Nawal Baker was swimming near the pier in the Outer Banks over the weekend. She felt a very sharp pain in her foot. She called it the worst pain she'd felt in her life. She thought it was a shark at first, rushed out of the water, and then collapsed on the beach.
As soon as I fell onto the sand, it was just one of the worst bits of pain I've ever felt in my entire life. I was looking to see if there was teeth marks around my foot, and there was a lot of blood coming out of just one little area where the stingray got me. But the pain, it's honestly indescribable.
I've never had it happen to me, but I do hear it hurts. She's going to be okay, fortunately. Officials say it was a butterfly ray that stung her. Look at this video. You can see them under the water there. A video from another person at the beach showed that there was at least 4 large stingrays there in the water that same afternoon. Baker told us that she heard about 5 other people stung by rays in that same area. You got to be careful. More homes are in trouble out there on the Outer Banks. Check out this video. This one from Rodanthe. We've talked about this area before. The house is basically in the surf there. Look at the line of homes. So many of them threatened. This is the same spot where a home collapsed into the water a couple of weeks ago. Now, we also have gone in depth on this topic before. A few of the cliff notes, some of the things we talked about. This problem isn't just about climate change. Yes, storms are stronger, sea levels are rising, but this is also about money. Rodanthe's beach erodes faster than others, and the local government can't afford to re-nourish it. Homeowners, they have tried to move their houses. Flood insurance will not pay for that to happen. There's a lot to talk about on this topic. It's really compelling. And if you want to see the full segment, you can check it out, WRAL.com, or hit up the WRAL YouTube page. Meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us now. We don't need the beach currently because weather's so beautiful right here in the Triangle.
It was such a nice day. A lot of people just headed back to work today, so it kind of felt like a Monday. But what a nice start to the week. 59 will be our low tomorrow morning. It'll be cool and crisp, but not all that bad for those of you who aren't a fan of the chill. We're actually going to see our lows climb right back into the 60s here pretty soon. 53 in Roxborough in the morning, 58 in Durham, 59 Raleigh, 62 in Fayetteville. We'll see partly cloudy skies overnight, and we've got a little bit of sun in the morning. That won't last for long. We cloud up quickly. The bus stop's still pretty nice to start, 59, but by Thursday and Friday mornings, we're going to be back in the 60s for our lows, so those lows are going to go back up as we see more moisture move in. And that moisture is going to start to move in the form of a lot of clouds filling in. You can already see them out at RDU. We had a clear blue sky out there with just a few tiny little clouds earlier today. The clouds are filling in, but it may make for a pretty nice sunset here pretty soon. 73 degrees, a nice northeast wind around 7 miles per hour. That northeast breeze has felt great today. The wind is definitely beginning to settle down, though. It's not quite so blustery. High pressure is to our north, and that's what's steering that cooler, drier air in from Canada. We also have this system sitting offshore, a stalled front, an area of low pressure, very unlikely to become tropical, not even marked for possible development. But that rough surf that you saw there in Rodanthe caused just by this stalled front, so it doesn't even take a tropical system to bring sites like that to the coast. We are going to watch that area of low pressure as it moves off in this region and away from land. Perhaps that would be the opportunity for something to spin up, but still looks very unlikely. 73 degrees out there right now, feeling good. Look at this air to our north. We're going to continue to see that air mass pushed into North Carolina overnight. So summer is taking a nice little break here. We see that dip in the jet stream coupled with high pressure. That's why we are seeing below normal temperatures today. No 90s in our 7-day forecast at all. And as soon as temperatures start to climb again, they're going to drop again. We've got another dip in temperatures for the weekend, and that is because we've got a cold front on the way that arrives Saturday. Tomorrow, the big change will be the cloud cover, mostly cloudy. 79 tomorrow, still pretty breezy with that northeast wind. Thursday, just 75, mostly cloudy. There will be a chance of a few spotty showers. Friday is going to be one of the better days of the week, and then storm chances return Saturday evening, and that'll come with that cold front that's on the way. We'll see a bigger dip in our low temperatures behind that cold front, but not necessarily the high temperatures. Highs are still going to be right around 80 degrees, so warm, sunny afternoons as we get into Sunday and early next week, but cool, crisp nights. Low temperatures are going to be back in the 50s as we get into Monday and Tuesday of next week, and that 54-degree low on Tuesday morning is really standing out to me. I'm ready for it.
I know you are.
80s during the afternoon. I love these days where you got to dress in layers. That's my favorite time of year.
Yes, exactly. Crisp in the morning and then perfect in the afternoon. I love it. Thanks, Scott. Well, remember the pond in Wake Forest, guys, that had to close because of a sewer line leak? Crews are still trying to clean up this pond at Joyner Park. It's been closed for over a week and a half.
The town thinks the root cause of this mess, people pouring grease down the drain. A bunch of it is piled up, apparently, and as WRAL's Sean Gallagher explains, it's not the first time.
It's easy to spot this bright green manhole cover at Joyner Park. Now,
that looks like rocks to me. Is that all grease?
That's grease. That's
Wow.
solidified grease.
But not a week and a half ago, Raleigh Water Supervisor Carlos Perez showed me this video of the sewer overflow, a foe he knows all too well.
A lot of grease. Automatically is very distinctive.
He says 27% of clogs they've dealt with are due to grease in the last year. He says this neighborhood with more than 300 homes just to the west is the only one connected to this line.
Not sure how long this neighborhood has been in open, but it could take weeks, it could take months, it could take years.
We went to the neighborhood to talk to residents there, like Madeline Day and Malik Washington.
Originally from New England.
They've been here for a little over a year, homeowners for the first time.
Well, I don't think anything really changed besides, we became more responsible, I guess.
They say they take more care in what they put down the drain, especially with grease.
We'll put it down in a cup that we were throwing away so it doesn't burn through the garbage bag, and then we'll wash it from there.
But Perez says that's not enough.
But you still have some film of oil and grease on the pot. That needs to be properly wiped.
An extra teaspoon of grease may not seem like a big deal, Perez says, but if all of your neighbors take the same mindset, it adds up. And this is the result. More than 600,000 gallons of untreated water pouring out into this pond.
This is one of the largest one that I've dealt with.
His crews used high-pressure hoses to blast through the clogs, and they drained the pond to run the untreated water through the system, a project that will cost over $50,000.
It is frustrating.
And it has Madeline second-guessing old habits.
I would go the extra mile to wipe it down first.
While this pond might look all right, there are still some mitigation efforts in order to make it safe for wildlife. Perez says that could take months, if not a full year, until it's up to speed, and until then, this part of the park will remain closed. Sean Gallagher, WRAL News, Wake County.
Got to be careful with that bacon grease.
Yeah, you do.
Yep. Hey, one last thing. Another update on development in Raleigh. Check out the renderings for one of the newer towers in North Hills. We'll show you who's moving in after the break. Well, the NFL kickoff gets started this Thursday night. The Baltimore Ravens set to take on the defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. You can watch all the action right here on WRAL. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock. Kickoff set for 8:20. Fayetteville State University welcomed over 7,000 students this fall. This is the third year in a row for record-setting enrollment. Since the fall of 2018, there has been a 12% increase. The class of 2028 has nearly 800 first-time freshmen and more than 1,000 transfer students.
Wake County has some new library card designs. They've had those bright yellow cards since the early 2000s, and the new card's kind of a fresh look. They even have the My First Library card there for kids, which is cute. What a great idea. Get kids interested in the library and reading. It celebrates to celebrate the new designs. County libraries are hosting a contest encouraging people to share their library card stories. You can use the hashtag MyLibraryCardStory or submit it online. Selected stories will be featured on the library's social social media and website. That's fun. One last thing for you tonight. Do you ever drive around Raleigh or Durham and you think, what is that crane for? We sure see a lot of cranes around here, don't we? Maybe you've seen the work on this building over at North Hills in Midtown Raleigh. Pretty soon, a clinical research organization in Durham will move its headquarters here. Parexel just signed a lease in Tower 5. There are some renderings here of what it could look like inside once they move in. The tower opens later this year. The company aims to move in shortly after, and now we know what that crane is doing over there. I'm always wondering, what's up with this, what are they building next?
I know. And especially up in North Hills, there's just so much development happening. Well, thank you for making WRAL your choice for local news.
Our next newscast is at 10 o'clock on Fox 50 and at 11 on WRAL. What a sight in Lake Gaston. Thanks for being with us.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.